Fisher, and I want to welcome you to this episode of the New School Review. This show will update Canton residents on the Galvin Middle School project, including where things currently stand in the process, important dates coming up, and more. Joining me today are Galvin Middle School Principal Jonathan Mulhern, along with Justin Tebow from the project's architectural firm AI3. Of course, the biggest update since the first episode of the New School Review is the passing of the project. There was overwhelming support from residents to build a new Galvin Middle School. Now, Superintendent Derek Folan, the school building committee, and the school committee members were most appreciative of both the town's incredible interest and support of this project. I want to thank you both for joining me today. And Justin, let's start with having you talk a little bit about where things currently stand in this process. If folks drive by the middle school, what will they see going on? What can't they see that's going on behind the scenes?
Yeah, absolutely. So now that the project has secured its funding, it moves into the detailed design and documentation phase. It's going to last about a year and a half or so and wrap up in the spring of 2026. After that, it'll go out for bidding. Then it will be a construction phase, approximately 2 years, with project closeout. If you were to drive by the site right now, you'd see maybe a handful of cars extra. That's because AI3 and our 30-plus consultants are working with Principal Mulhern here, his staff, district administration, town stakeholders, everybody involved through the planning and the design process. What you may have noticed though recently, if you did drive by, there is a little bit of on-site activity, most recently over the December break. The Consigli Construction conducted a geothermal test well to influence and inform the design of the HVAC system of the project. And any additional on-site activity, the team is really focused on scheduling with Principal Mulhern here to do that during school vacations as well as the summer. Again, to minimize disruption to students throughout their academic day.
Right, makes a lot of sense. Well, Jonathan, we've heard a lot about the design of the school, how it was designed, and built for the future. Can you talk a little bit about what that means exactly?
Sure, I'd be happy to. As we entered the design phase of this project, we're mindful that best practices and trends in education over the last decade plus have really pulled us away from what we call the traditional industrial model of education. It's the one most of us are familiar with. There's a bell schedule, there's 6 or 7 periods a day. You take math separate from English, separate from language, and so on. And the trend and best practice and what we anticipate a need for going forward are faculty who collaborate, who break down those silos between the subject areas, who get kids to see the connections in real time every day between their different areas of learning. And so this building design is really built to enable that work among our professional staff. In the academic wings, we're going to have classrooms that face one another in more of a rotunda shape than the current sort of rectangle shape. There's going to be spaces that are intentionally designed for collaboration. Students can work on projects together. Staff can use it flexibly. One of the terms that went into the design of the classrooms and learning spaces was spillability. It was coined by our former colleague, Sarah Shannon. And so we're really excited for the potential of that and how it's going to transform day-to-day instruction. In addition, we're going to get state-of-the-art new facilities for in support of wellness. We're going to have a double gym. We're going to have a full auditorium, state-of-the-art rehearsal spaces for our music and theater programs, and also new tech rooms that are really going to support the science, tech, and engineering programs that we have that we really only anticipate expanding as we anticipate future curricula going ahead 20, 30, 40 years. So we're beyond excited about what we're going to be able to do with this new facility.
Everywhere.
And windows everywhere, natural light. It should be a much quieter space, an inviting space, a place where everybody should be comfortable during the day.
Yeah, the designs are beautiful. Well, this building is being built with sustainability at the forefront of the design process. Justin, can you discuss that just a little bit as well as share some details about those geothermal wells, which will help power the new Galvin?
Yeah, absolutely. So there are a number of sustainable and energy efficient components to the building. Usually when you hear sustainability, you initially think of like low flow plumbing fixtures, native plant species, high performance windows, and heating and cooling systems. So that's a portion of the sustainability and efficiency components. The other component that a lot of people don't realize and think about is really related to occupant comfort and retention and absenteeism. So those have a direct correlation with some studies that the design team will continue to go through. We will be modeling all the core academic spaces for a number of different components. So anything from daylighting to reduce glare conditions to actually acoustic modeling to reduce sound infiltration as well as reverberation times throughout the core academic classroom. We're even going into the depths of color selection and really what colors mean on individuals, how it can change your mood, how it can impact your energy level. So that's all information that is being worked into the design from a sustainability standpoint. So it's not only from something that will impact your utility bill, but it really also is trying to reduce absenteeism as well as staff retention. I'm glad you brought up geothermal. There has been a number of questions throughout the community of what is geothermal. And that can be a whole lesson and a whole conversation in and of itself because there are a number of nuances and a lot of details. But to super simplify it, what that means is that the design is actually capturing the energy within the ground, subsurface. So there'll be anywhere between 15 and 20 wells that are drilled up to 800 feet. There'll be a series of pipes that go down the 800 feet, back up, and loop into the building. So it will become a circuit, and fluid will fill those pipes. Now, the underground temp stays the same year-round, whether it's 90 degrees outside or 20, 30, or 0 like this past week inside. So as that fluid circulates through these pipes, it leaves and goes into the building at a constant, we'll call it 55 degrees. That then bump starts the heating and cooling system to give it an advantage. So if you're trying to cool the building and it's 90 degrees outside, it's capturing that cooler energy at the 55 degree fluid temp. If you're trying to heat the building and it's 20 degrees outside, that 55 degree fluid temp is still warmer. So it really makes the mechanical system super efficient because it's capturing that system that's there. Then it would circulate back through, and then again, that fluid would heat up to the 55 degrees, and it's just a continuous cycle year round.
And there is our science lesson for today.
Exactly.
I love it. Designing a school, like so many nuances, and it must be very exciting when you get a chance to do this. Are there details about the design process that you think people would really love to hear right away?
Absolutely. So, educational design is exciting in a number of ways. It's super meaningful, it's powerful, it's long lasting. But it's also unique in that every project, every district, every curriculum is different. It's unique. So the entire project team spends an enormous amount of time getting to know the staff, getting to know the curriculum to better understand their current constraints and their vision for the future. So we at AI3 bring forward historical knowledge as well as best practices for educational design. And what happens is we then have conversations with Principal Mulhern and staff and everyone at the district level of what their curriculum is and also what the educational vision is. And through collaboration, we actually integrate the two into a built environment. Principal Mulhern mentioned it and sort of coined the phrase about a year or so ago of marrying the vision with the built environment, and that's ultimately what we do. So it's a collaboration back and forth with a number of different nuances and taking into account all the programs, whether it be performing arts component, athletics, any of the STEM curriculum, world language, civics, etc. Everything becomes the fabric of the school, and we want to ensure that the design supports that delivery.
Excellent. Well, oftentimes when new schools are built, they're given a new name. However, this new school will continue to be known as the Galvin Middle School. Jonathan, can you share a bit about why, a little bit about the history, first of all, of the Galvin name and why Canton Public Schools felt it was so important for that name to stay?
Yeah, absolutely. I should mention that it was decided very early in the process that the name would remain the same. That was based on very strong feedback from those who worked within the schools and also residents of the town. Dr. Galvin was a lifelong resident of Canton. He spent his entire career in public education in the town of Canton. He began, as most of us do, as a classroom teacher. He then served as a principal in 2 different schools in town before becoming assistant superintendent and then moving on to become superintendent. And he sat on the building committee that brought the current building that we use into existence. It was brand new in 1972, and he was integral to that process. So I think the feeling among those of us who work in the schools and those who live in town is that it is more than appropriate that we continue to honor Dr. Galvin's legacy of service within public education in this town. This is a major investment on the part of the residents here in town, and I'm sure that it follows his vision and for what he wanted for his hometown.
And his name will live on now for decades to come.
It certainly will.
Yeah, well, thank you both for being with us today, and we want to thank all of you for watching this edition of the New School Review. Watch for future episodes as we periodically update you on the status of this project, and you can always find updated information on our project website, which is www.galvinmsproject.com. Have a good day, everyone.